Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Crandall Dairy Farm's virtual chat. I am Brittany with the Discover Dairy program, and we are so excited that you're joining us today as we get to meet Farmer Monica and, of course, your calves, Marley Moo, Oreo, and Tornado. First, this live chat is part of the Adopt a Cow program. More than 43,000 classes and 1.7 million students joined the fund for free this year, thanks to our generous supporters like the United Dairy Industry of Michigan and the Dairy Excellence Foundation. If you'd like to join the fun again next year, registration is actually open right now. You can go to discoverdairy.com/adopt. There you can simply log in and re-enroll if you're already in the program, or you can go ahead and create a new account and get started. Next, today's event is live. We are live on YouTube and Facebook, and the chat is open. We are excited to hear all of your questions, and I know Farmer Monica is excited to answer them. Now, before we go over to Farmer Monica, let's see who joined us today and check out that chat. So one of our first folks who was on today was Miss Eva, and they actually said they've adopted Hazel, Louisa, and Tornado from this program before. So hello all, we're excited to have you. Thank you. They are from Grand Rapids, Michigan. We also have some folks from who adopted Marley Moo. This is Miss Anne Marie's classroom in Grosse Pointe Academy Early School. They're a 3 to 7-year-old. So hello all. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got Parchment Central Elementary. We have Mrs. Colodey's kindergarten class in Marysville. Hello, they adopted Oreo. We got some folks from Shelby Township. We have Mrs. Kreiner's students in Garden School, Marysville. Hello, all. And let's see, one or two more here. We have North Branch Elementary in North Branch, Michigan. And we have Houghton Elementary fourth graders in Waterford, Michigan. So hello all, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. You know where that chat is now. I can see now that I've started. Many more of you are letting us know where you're from. Thank you so much, Mrs. Pollock's kindergarten class, for letting us know, and Mrs. Roca's class. We're pleased to have you on board today. Use that chat. Think of your questions. Go ahead and let us know what they are, and we'll get to your questions with Farmer Monica towards the second half of our chat. Speaking of Farmer Monica, I am pleased to introduce you to her. Hey, Farmer Monica, how are you doing
Hi.
today?
Hi, everyone. I'm good. How
Hello.
are you?
Oh, we're doing so well. We are so excited to be here with you today, and
Oh,
get to meet our girls finally in real time.
mm,
So I'll let you go ahead and kick it off. Let us know, who you are, your farm,
yeah,
and give us a little bit of background.
sure. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining me. I'm Farmer Monica. My family is going into a sixth generation. Currently, my husband and my brother-in-law own the farm, and my kids are actually coming back for a partnership, so that'll make them the sixth generation. Um,
Wow.
yeah, isn't that crazy? I love that. Um, we milk about 350 cows 3 times a day. We have about another 300 young stock that aren't milking or having babies that we take care of as well. We have 800 acres of corn, soybeans, alfalfa, and wheat that we take care of. And we have about 18 employees, 8 of them being family members. And then we have about four others that are, well, four of that 10 is seniors from our local high school. So
Oh,
I'm
cool.
glad to say those numbers because I think some of those numbers are really important, whether it's family or otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. You're supporting your local school. You're potentially
Yeah.
inspiring future dairy farmers by having them
Yes.
hop on your farm, and of
Mhm.
course you're able to support your entire family, which
Right.
is such a blessing. And six
Yep.
generations. Wow.
I know.
That is such an accomplishment and an excitement for, I'm
Yeah.
sure, for all of you.
Yes.
Farmer Monica, can you share maybe what does a typical day on a dairy farm look like? Like we know you're taking care of our
Yeah.
three girls, but we're
hmm
curious, what else do you guys do on the farm?
So we the early shift, we have 3 milkings. The early shift is at 2 a.m. So our employees get here that early. My husband usually comes in about 5 to start feeding animals. We have a mid shift that's at 10, and then our evening shift is at around 5. And so I don't know if you can hear the semi coming in right now, but
We saw it, but we couldn't hear it.
it's really loud right now. Actually, our milk truck is coming in right now to pick up the milk from our milk tank. We have a 7,000 gallon milk tank that he comes and picks up once a day. So, other than the 3 milking shifts, right now we're in planting season. So, our guys are really busy with 12 to 14-hour days of planting, preparing the land for the planting. They've been disking, chiseling,
Sure.
planting, those kinds of things.
Yeah, so I'm sure it sounds like you I can't believe you start at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my
So,
goodness. Now, I'm assuming you guys all take different shifts, but otherwise that would be like no sleep for all of you.
right, right. Yeah, that wouldn't be good, would it? But we have
Wow.
two full-time employees that come in the morning at 2 a.m. And then some of the family members, like my husband and brother-in-law, they come in, early in the mornings to start feeding the animals. And then between my family members and some of the employees, they start picking up other shifts during the day. And so
Gotcha.
when we're not milking, obviously there's other chores to do, there's field work
Hmm.
to do, things like that.
Yeah, it takes a
Yep,
team. It takes a
yep,
village to make
yep,
the whole farm run.
yep.
Well, so Farmer Monica, we've loved getting to follow you and your farm this year.
Thanks.
And if, I think, but most importantly, we've loved those nosy little girls who seem
Yeah.
to maybe be nibbling at you.
Yes, they are.
Um, so we have just fallen in love with Marley Moo and Tornado and Oreo.
Mhm.
So we'd love to get an update on how they're
Sure.
doing.
Yep.
I'm not sure which one's closest to you first. We could start with whichever one's
Okay.
closest.
So this one right here, 4153, this is Marley Moo. And
Oh,
when she started out, was about 30 inches tall and around the 95-pound mark.
okay.
Currently, we think she's about 42 inches and around 420 pounds. Obviously, we don't have scales to weigh our animals, so it's just kind of like a best guess that we're
Sure.
doing based on age.
Yeah.
Um, Marley Moo is, it's kind of funny about her. She's sitting here poking at my shirt and my back and trying to get me, but she has been the quietest one out of all of them. She's been the
Oh.
hardest one to get pictures for. So my Marley Moo followers, I'm really sorry, but she has been a stinker when it comes to getting pictures. She's more, I think, reserved than the other animals. Um,
Hmm.
Animals in
Hmm.
general are very curious, but I think it's within their own realm of, safety and
Hmm.
things like that. So,
Yeah.
yep.
Maybe she just really was excited for the limelight
Yes,
and the social aspect of
absolutely,
this. She's like, man,
absolutely.
bring on that camera.
Yeah, yep. So, when you do this, it's kind of funny because you have different personalities of all of them, and so I like that
Mhm.
there's a range of who they are because I think that makes them unique and different and makes this program different. So
Yeah. Yeah, very
you wouldn't
true.
want them all the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah, she is growing up so
Yep,
much. I know from our most recent update in six
yep,
months, that means she grew about 2 inches and
yep,
probably about 50 pounds. So
yeah, yep,
she's put on a good amount of weight in about a
yep.
month and a half, 2 months-ish or so.
Right.
She's getting so big. Oh
And
my
they'll
goodness.
grow fast from the rest of the way. I mean, they kind of already grow fast, but
Right.
this one here is 4149. This is Tornado. And when I
Hi.
originally did the having everybody pick their names, I just kind of like stuck Tornado with this. And then the funny thing is, I looked at her head later on, and it kind of does look like she has maybe a tornado on her forehead. So
It does.
yeah, so I think it kind of fit. But Tornado, when we started out, was about, again, 30 pounds or 30 inches, excuse me, 95 pounds.
Mm,
We think that she's right now 43 inches, around 450 pounds. Um,
awesome.
she has kind of more of a reserved temperament as well, I feel.
Hmm.
Um, she started getting used to taking pictures, like middle to the end of the program.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like she's mild tempered and
Aw.
again kind of curious in her own ways.
Yeah.
Um, but she, with the Adopt a Cow program, is my oldest one out of these three that you guys are going to see today.
Uh-huh.
So her and Oreo were actually born on September 1st, whereas Marley Moo was actually born about September 4th, I think it was.
Gotcha.
Yep,
Gotcha. So they were first of the
yep,
month.
yep,
They are both super cute. They both have
yep,
pretty black.
yes,
Some of them, sometimes cows are really speckled, but they're almost
yes,
mostly black and not a lot of spots, but that
yep,
makes them look so sleek and
right.
shiny. She looks just so calm. Now, Farmer
Yes.
Monica, we see her doing something right now with her
Hmm.
mouth. Can you
Yep.
explain what that is?
Yep. So she's chewing her cud. A lot of times, I know this sounds gross, but they kind of regurgitate their food and just kind of chew on it. And so that's what she's doing right now.
Oh,
Yep.
so she's chewing her
Yep.
cud, and
And
they
it
do
looks like
that
she's coming to say hi
because,
to you guys.
aw, hi, Tornado. Now they do that because their stomachs are different than ours,
Yep.
right?
Yep. They have four stomachs, and yep. So things process a little bit differently than ours that, we only have one stomach. So,
right.
yep.
Yeah. They'd have to chew their food a couple of
Yep.
times before it
Yep.
actually is finished.
And the funny
Tornado's
thing
like,
is
I think
yeah,
I like this.
she's so into you guys right now. And then our last calf of the program, apparently she's tired and is napping, but this is Oreo, number 4150.
Oh.
Again, she was born around or on September 1st. Again, kind of the same as the other ones, about 30 inches, 95 pounds. They were all real
Mhm.
similar in
Mhm.
their height and weight when they were born. I think she's around 42 inches and around 435 pounds. And
Gotcha.
so Oreo has been probably the funnest one as far as a personality, in this program. She was always the one that, when I wanted to take pictures, she was always right out there, front and
Oh.
center, wanted her picture taken, kind of would come from behind all the other animals to, make sure she was in the spotlight. And, I just love their personalities. Like I say, they're
Hmm.
they're just so different.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because all of them are kind of making you a little fibber, right? The
Yeah.
two that were
Yeah.
quiet ones are like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be nosy. And now of course Oreo's just chilling, hanging out in her
Yes.
in her pen.
So if
Oh.
I could tell you a little bit of story, a little story about Tornado. When we are here on the farm, we have to move our animals around from group to group. So our
Mhm.
farm kind of runs like a school, whereas different pens might have the same age. One pen might have the same age group, but as you go along, they kind of move up in age, just like in a school. And so
Sure.
we had to move our animals to a different pen because they were getting older.
Hmm.
And when I come out and take these pictures to give to you guys, I always talk to them and spend a lot of time with them. And so when I moved them, I said, "Oh my gosh, where are you guys? I can't find you." And Tornado literally came running around the end of the pen to find me. And I just thought that was so cool that they have such personalities that I mean, you really can't express that feature about them enough. I
Right.
just think that's so cool about them.
That is amazing. It's like she knew. She's like, I'm
Yes.
coming
Yeah.
for her, Monica. I'm
mom's
here.
here. Take care of me.
Yeah. Oh my
So
gosh. Oh, that's
anyhow,
precious. That's a cute story. Thanks for sharing that,
yeah,
Monica.
absolutely.
So, Oreo's actually demonstrating something that maybe we could talk about. She's clearly very comfortable. Can you
Yes,
explain right now, kind of just from the screen? It looks like she might be
absolutely.
laying in dirt. So, can you just explain what she's laying on and
Yep,
why are there bars and just kind of talk about
absolutely.
her sleeping
Yep.
situation?
So cows, like to have kind of their own space as well. And they're really not different than us. Sometimes we want our own space, but so that's why the bars are there for kind of like her own space protection kind of thing.
Hmm.
She's laying in beach sand, and
Oh,
the reason we have beach sand is it conforms to their udders, and it's cool for them on hot days. And so we put beach sand in. All of our barns have beach sand except for our brand new
oh,
babies, and they have straw just because that's something different, cleanliness for them kind of thing because we have to
sure.
change their pens a lot. But yeah, the beach sand, it's really easy to clean up. It's easy to put in. It's comfortable, and so
Hmm.
that's why we put it in our
Yeah.
pens for them.
I mean, I like laying on the beach all day long, so
Yeah,
it certainly seems like they do too.
right, right. So yeah, those
Oh.
hot summer months, it's really nice to keep them cool. Um,
Oh yeah.
so yeah,
Absolutely.
yep.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for that update.
Yeah.
They've just gotten so big, and I know you said it's pretty normal for them to grow this fast. That
Hmm.
cows really, much faster than us. If we would look at an 8-month-old baby, we certainly did not gain 400 some pounds
Right. Right.
in 8 months, but that's pretty normal because they
Yep.
get a lot bigger yet. Do you know how big a full-grown cow can be, and maybe like around what age?
So some of our biggest cows are about, anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 pounds. It just
Wow.
depends. Our genetics and our animals are a little bit, I don't want to say better, but they're better where,
Sure.
we try to provide better um, bone structure and that kind of stuff for our animals. And so our
Hmm.
animals do, tend to be a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see in the camera right now, but the height difference in these two animals, and they were
Mm,
born like 3 or 4 days apart. So,
mm,
they
interesting.
all grow differently, of course,
Sure.
but
But quickly.
yeah, yeah. And the average, and our cows usually, our oldest one right now on the farm is 11 years old. So I feel like our animals are anywhere from like 8 to 12 years old as far as their lifespan in our farm. And so,
Wow.
yeah.
That's amazing. 8 to 12. That is
Mm-hmm.
impressive because I know one human year is about the same as 10 cow years. So you are
Mm-hmm.
defying the odds with some of those older ones and
Mm-hmm.
and really they're living a long, beautiful, healthy life on
Yeah.
your farm. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
We
Very
really
cool.
try to make sure our genetics are good, as far as, like I say, the bone structure and their udder health, because
Yeah.
I think that's the kind of stuff that takes them in farther into the future.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love that.
Yep.
Farmer Monica, we've had a lot of great questions coming in while we've been
Sure.
chatting. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to try and get through as many of these as we can. You guys
Sure.
are asking us some awesome questions. So great one to start off from some kindergartners at Eaton Rapids. They're wondering, how does the milk get from the cow to us? I know you mentioned that they go and get
Mhm.
milked and that the milk truck comes, but like what happens then?
Sure. So when we take our animals in to get milked, which they won't milk until after they've had their first calf, which is about 2 years old, they
Mm-hmm.
will go in and get milked into our parlor. Um, we have employees that will milk them. They put a unit on them, a milker unit that
Mm-hmm.
goes on their udder, and then all
Mm-hmm.
the milk goes from them right into the tank. So it's never touched by human hands. And then
Wow.
obviously the milk truck will pick it up again, never being touched by human hands, and going right to the plant, the processing plant.
Wow. That's awesome. So yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's first you said never touched by human hands, but it sounds like a very quick turnaround time. I mean, it leaves your
Yep,
farm every day,
yep.
and then I'm sure they process it very quick. It arrives that same day. They process it
Hmm.
very quickly. I'm pretty sure I know at least here on the East Coast, and I'm sure since you guys have so many farms too, it's probably similar in Michigan that we have like a 48-hour turnaround time that milk just came fresh from the farm. So you guys are now, where does your milk go? Do you know like a brand name or a
Yep.
location or anything like that?
So most of our milk goes into fluid milk, and it can be purchased like at Sam's, Aldi, Kroger. And then
Oh,
there's certain pizza chains that will have that milk goes into their cheese, the mozzarella cheese
oh,
for pizzas. So, but
man,
but I would say most of it goes into fluid milk.
that's cool. We're
Yep,
buying your milk at the grocery store and then eating
yep,
your pizza, eating your cheese
yep,
on my slice of pizza.
yep,
That's awesome.
absolutely. Yep.
Let's see. So I'm just gonna recap. You already mentioned this, but to Miss Wykstra, when do they start making milk? Farmer Monica had shared that it's around 2 years old that they'll start making
Hmm.
milk. So our girls right now are not producing milk. They
No,
just
not
they
yet.
just do what they're doing right now, which
Yep,
is nothing.
hanging out. Yep.
That's awesome. Let's see. We talked about the bars. I'm just trying to go down through some of these questions here. Oh, we were curious. How are the moms doing of the adopted calves?
They're doing good.
Good.
Obviously they are, I don't know really where they're at as far as if they're pregnant right now or not. I
Sure.
think I think I mentioned maybe in a couple of those updates that maybe a couple of them are pregnant,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
maybe not.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure my husband would know that, but as of right now, if they're not pregnant, they're enjoying life in the barn, and if they are pregnant, they're in the milking parlor.
Very cool. Um, we had a question about, I'm just trying to, my goodness, you guys are sending a ton. Oh, they were curious. When will they live in this barn now, like for the rest of their time until they join the milking herd, or is there like a next step? Will they get to go
Yeah,
out on pasture? Or are they in the
yeah.
barn? Just kind of asking their next
Sure.
steps.
Yep. So our animals do not go out on pasture just because of safety, keeping them safe, so they don't get hurt in any way.
Sure.
So this is, I don't know, their their next step will be, once they grow up a little bit more, getting pregnant and then going into the milking parlor barn or the milking cow barn. And then so they're kind of just waiting to grow up a little bit and then until
Mhm.
the next step of adulthood.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. And I forgot to ask earlier, right now, so they're living in this really cool beach bed. They're living in
Hmm.
this barn together. What are they eating and drinking right now? Because I know we learned when they were first born they were
Yep.
drinking milk and
Yep.
on some grain, but I don't think they're on that anymore, correct?
Right. So all of our animals drink water. They actually drink about 50 gallons of water, 30 to 50 gallons of water a day, just depending. In summer months, it's probably more. They drink that most every day. And then we have a mixed ration of food of soybean hulls, canola meal, hay, um, corn. So kind of a mixture of some things.
Awesome. Now, some of those sound pretty familiar, and I know
Mm-hmm.
cow corn is not our corn, it's two different
Nope.
corns. But you mentioned canola meal.
Mm-hmm.
So I know we use canola oil.
Mm-hmm.
So can you talk a little bit about what canola meal is? It sounds like it might be a byproduct.
Yeah, it's just kind of a byproduct that's more upcycled to feed the animals. We kind of like as farmers like upcycle and recycle lots of things. And another product that we use in their feeds from time to time is cottonseed, and it's a byproduct of
Oh,
cotton. So
huh.
yep, the canola meal is just kind of
Interesting.
a byproduct that we can use for the animals.
Right.
A lot of
That is
these,
so cool.
yep, a lot of these products that we use, like the cottonseed, the canola meal, have different vitamins and minerals in it for the health of the animal.
Wow. And that's really neat that we can, so just to kind of help all of our kiddos understand, byproduct means it's something that we as humans made something. So like
Mm-hmm.
Farmer Monica said, we made clothing from the cotton, but then we have that seed left over. And if
Mm-hmm.
that seed otherwise is going to be waste and it's our now our human waste to throw it away, but our cows can eat it and turn it into energy. So it's a byproduct of what we make. And the cows are just so cool like that they can
Mm-hmm.
upcycle all kinds of different foods like that and eat it. It goes through all four of their compartments of their stomach and they digest it and it turns into
Mm-hmm.
energy and turns into milk. It's so cool. I just think that that whole thing is just
Yes.
they help us be great stewards of our environment
Mm-hmm.
because by
Absolutely.
by helping us out. Let's see. We had a question on the ear tags. We see
Mm-hmm.
their big, beautiful yellow ear tags. Can
Mm-hmm.
you talk a little bit about why you have them and what's the importance of them?
Sure. So all of our animals have ear tags. They all have a number, and they get this right after they're born. And then
Mhm.
these ear tags help us to identify like when they're sick or when they have babies or just things like that that we need to monitor with them. Um, we have more information that is solely based on their number.
Sure.
So yeah.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like
Very
our names.
cool.
I mean, we all have different names, and when you go to the doctor, and you know, they can treat each of us based on our on who we are. That's kind of who they are.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, and so I'm sure that definitely helps keep track. You guys have a lot of animals on your farm, and there's a
Right.
lot of people moving around, and
Yep.
they all look very similar. They're all black and white.
Right.
So
Yep.
I'm sure
Yep.
that's tricky to keep track of them all. So those tags really
Yes.
help you just manage them in
Yep.
general. And of course, you mentioned, just keeping record of it. You have a lot of other information associated to those numbers, and it lets you guys just really be the best farm manager you can be by keeping track of them all.
Yep.
Very
The
cool.
funny thing is that those that work on the farm all can discuss numbers, and they all know is which number. So, obviously that's familiarity with the animal, and
Right.
base. We try to base their needs on what they need.
Right.
That
Absolutely. Hmm.
yeah.
Very cool. We had an interesting question come in, Farmer Monica. We were curious if you had any funny stories at all or a funny moment that happened on the farm, just in over the years. Like, was there any ever a time that was just a great laughing moment that maybe just something silly happened at all?
Well, I can for sure tell you it's not necessarily funny, but when the cows are out, everyone moves quickly. So, I mean, I wouldn't say that's a funny story, but I don't know. It's very funny on how fast you can get a lot of people
People
moving
can
to get
move.
a bunch of cows back in.
Right.
So, yeah,
Oh, that is so true. It's nothing can wake you up out of a dead
yeah.
sleep like the
Oh,
cows are out.
I
So
know it. I know it. It's so terrifying. So gotten out of the shower before and had to run and get clothes on just to get the cows back in. So
Goodness.
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
that keeps things interesting.
I guess you have those memories for later down the road.
Right? Yeah. We were
So
curious, what does the average day look like for a cow? Is this what they do all the time? Do they play
mhm.
games or, how do they play with each other?
Yeah, so most of the time they're just, eating and resting and sometimes they get a little spurt of energy and so they run around and kick their feet up and kind of are
Yeah.
excited, I guess. But most of the day,
Oh,
especially the milking cows, they're pregnant and they're milking, and so they've got a little bit more on their plates, and so they have to rest as much as they can. So
yeah.
for the others, if they're more older stock, they're resting and eating. The younger stock probably play around a little bit more.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And I know cows love to play when there's fresh bedding and stuff put
Yep,
down too. They tend
absolutely.
to really kick up their heels then too.
Yep.
This is an interesting question for Monica. Right now we are not really hearing anything because of your microphone, but do cows moo a lot? Like do they moo to communicate with you or, just do they like is that a common thing or is it usually
Mhm.
quiet in the barn?
I feel like it's mostly quiet. I mean, since we've been out here, I don't think the other animals have been at all making noise. I was kind of concerned about that coming into this because I thought they were going to be making noise, but I feel like it's really quiet in here. I feel like they communicate with us when they need something.
Sure.
Maybe there's danger or maybe they're out of food or, things like that. But I think
Sure.
for the most time, they're pretty quiet.
Yeah. I'm sure they let you know. They're like, it is feeding time. We would
Yes.
like our food
Yes.
now.
Especially the baby calves. Like when the baby calves, we keep them in their hutches until about 2 months old. And when it's feeding time for them because they are loud.
Oh.
Yep. So,
Yeah, the babies they're still learning. They
yep.
still have a lot of
Yep.
needs. So
Yes.
oh my gosh. Oh, they are just hanging out with us today. We have loved getting to chat with you,
Hmm.
Farmer Monica,
Oh,
and
thank you.
just kind of see them doing their thing, right? This is
Hmm.
exactly, I know we separated them a little bit just so we could focus on the three of them, but I mean,
Hmm.
this is exactly what they do all day,
Yep.
every day. And we were so happy to just take a little glimpse into their life today.
Hmm.
As we wrap up, Farmer Monica, I did have one more question for you.
Sure.
I was you talked about starting at 2 a.m. We've talked about all the important things you guys
Hmm.
do at a farm. You're milking the cows, you're doing the field work, you're taking care of each one of these girls from birth all the way to 11, 12
Hmm.
years old. Sounds like a lot of work. So I'm curious, what's your why behind running a dairy farm and doing what you
Hmm.
do every day?
That's a great question. Thank you. I feel like my why is not everyone gets to experience this. It's such a
Mm-hmm.
rare opportunity. Sadly, dairy farms probably are dwindling in the United States. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like my why is my family, my kids. I married into a dairy farm life. I certainly didn't come from that. We raised our kids in the dairy farm life. Took 4-H calves to the fair.
Mm-hmm.
Raised them on the farm on the land, and I have two of them that are coming back to the farm. One went to a trade school in Ohio. One is graduating tomorrow with her
Oh,
degree. And I just feel like it's kind of almost going full circle in the fact that, I've raised them here and now they're coming back here again, going back to that sixth generation. So
yeah.
not everybody has it. I'm so blessed of what I do have.
Yeah.
And I'm blessed at what I can give too.
Yeah. Oh, isn't that the truth?
Hmm.
You hit it right on the head that growing up on a farm it's just
Hmm.
a different lifestyle. You
Right.
learn life and the circle of life. You understand the hard things earlier in
Hmm.
life, and it's just such a beautiful thing. And you
Right.
can work with your family.
Hmm.
So I'm excited for you as well for the next
Hmm.
generation to come
Thank
back.
you.
Um, you know, Farms like you could not be in business this
Hmm.
long if you weren't doing it right.
Hmm.
So clearly you're great members of your community. You're taking care of your land. You're taking care of your cows, and
Hmm.
we just are really excited to see you guys continue to flourish and thrive. And of course, we are really thankful that you were able to share a piece of that with us through
Thank you.
our adopted calves. They were so much fun to get to
Oh,
follow this year, and
thank
your farm
you.
is beautiful. So thank you for
Thank you.
sharing it with us.
Thank you.
Oh, Is there anything else, Farmer Monica, you wanted to share with us today?
Honestly, I would just like to really share a heartfelt thank you to all the classrooms following me, all the teachers that have probably spent weeks, lots of weeks, every week,
Yeah.
updating their kids and really bringing the kids into our farm, even though they're
Hmm.
physically not here. You guys have got to experience this through pictures and emails and however else you've communicated with me. And I
Hmm.
just really want to say thank you to the teachers in the classrooms for this opportunity for me, but also for you.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, that's wonderfully said, and I
Mm,
agree. I thank you, teachers, for including agriculture in the classroom, and caring about wanting to teach where your food comes from.
mm,
It's so important to know it's not just coming from the grocery store. It is coming from hardworking dairy farmers like Farmer Monica and her family, really just putting in every effort and passion to give you a healthy, wholesome product. They get to feed the
mm.
world. That's a very rare thing that very few people can say they get to do. So, thank you, Farmer Monica, for everything that
Thank
you've
you.
done for this program. And thank you all for doing this program. And we hope you choose to join us next year. Registration is open already, so you can re-enroll at discoverdairy.com/adopt. And we look forward to having you back in October. Until then, we hope you have a wonderful summer. Thank you so much.